Passionate historian, intrepid researcher, and insightful author, Dr. Glenna Matthews' most recent book, The Golden State in the Civil War, Thomas Starr King, the Republican Party, and the Birth of Modern California, brings to a contemporary audience the story of the Reverend Thomas Starr King's life and the profound impact of his values on the culture and history of San Francisco and California. An accomplished scholar and professor, Dr. Matthews has taught American history at Oklahoma State University and has served as visiting associate professor of history at UC Berkeley, Stanford University, UCLA, UC Irvine, and UC Davis. At Starr King School for the Ministry, she has been a research scholar and taught as adjunct faculty. Dr. Matthews' scholarship has focused on 20th century U.S. history, California history, and urban history, with particular attention to the role of women. Her groundbreaking work has explored intersectional themes of power, gender, class, labor, diversity, and politics. The author of 6 books and numerous scholarly articles, she has received fellowships from the American Council of Learned Societies, the National Endowment for the Humanities, as well as many other awards and honors. Grounded in her deep love for family, friends, and community, she models a daily practice of civic engagement. An extraordinary scholar, Dr. Matthews has been instrumental in shining a light on those who are too often left in the shadows. It is my honor, and by the vote of the Board of Trustees of Starr King School for the Ministry, we hereby award to you, Dr. Glenna Matthews, Litterarum Humanarum, Doctor.
I just have a few brief remarks following very much what Rosemary had to say. I'm a historian. I know it's usual for people to talk about the future at a graduation, but I want graduates to know that being in touch with history, particularly UU history, but not exclusively, is what we need to stay grounded and stay inspired and keep fighting the good fight. First of all, in times like we're living through right now, history teaches us that we're not the only people that have had to deal with terribly difficult circumstances. It gives us a context and is a shield against any tendency toward self-pity. Why does our generation have to put up with this, you know? And then the second thing is that when we look to history, and I just want to single out the history of abolitionism, and I'm not going to cry, which I usually do when I talk about this subject. The abolitionists fought the good fight, and many of them died not knowing that slavery would end. And we all know racism hasn't ended. But they kept fighting. The Grimke sisters left their native South. They were the daughters of a slave-owning family to speak out against slavery. They never saw their mother again in order to fight that fight. At one point in the 1830s, they were speaking in a hall in Philadelphia, and the hall was burned down as, you know, they had to escape for their lives. Harriet Tubman, who escaped slavery herself and then went back repeatedly to bring her family into freedom. The Reverend Samuel May, Unitarian minister, who was an ally of William Lloyd Garrison. And in addition to his abolition work, he gave a speech to a women's rights convention in Worcester, Massachusetts in 1850, in which he said, giving women the vote won't break up families. It's not women who are breaking up families. He said that the right way to have a life is when the children are young, both men and women should have relatively restricted public roles. And when the children get older, then both men and women can branch out and do more. I was like, when I came across that in the archives, it's like, wow, a Unitarian minister said something that sounds au courant now. So this history inspires us, it grounds us, and it teaches us, and it gives us the courage we need to keep fighting the good fight, just like what our beloved Rosemary said we needed to do. Thank you.